And you fuckers thought you could get rid of us. You were wrong. Never. We are fucking bringing it back. We're going old school with this one. This is our first episode of the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy Looking Nerf Herders, and that was hard to say for some reason. Reviewing Star Wars Clone Wars from way back in 2003.
We were just children.
Yes, we were just children. I was still in high school.
I was stationed in Germany.
Actually. Yeah, that's a lot cooler than being in high school.
Actually, that's not true. I was in college at this point.
Oh, whatever.
There's no way this was released in 2003 because I saw it when I was in Germany.
You know what? That's what it's saying. It ran from 2003 to 2005.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I did it, but I love this. So when I thought of the Clone Wars, I always thought of this version of it. Like it never even entered my mind that, until they did that big movie release of Clone Wars, that they would even make another Clone Wars series. Because I thought they had finished. Like this gave us teases of not just what the war was like, but it introduced us to the characters that were going to be featured in episode 3. And so I thought, okay, well, all is done. That's it. That's awesome. I really loved it. It was great. So we're going to be recording this in seasons, basically, for seasons 1 and 2, because the episodes are so short. So we both just finished watching season 1. It's 10 episodes. And ultimately, I don't know. I thought these were great. It centers around 2 different storylines with some tangential stories mixed in for good measure. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is sent over to Munilist to squash the intergalactic banking clans. That was hard to say. Jeez. I guess descent to separatists, right? Like they were...
Yeah, they were there to essentially destroy the droid facilities that they had there because they were building warships and droids.
Which was really great. I don't want to talk about this just for a second because it was the first time we saw that Grievous wasn't the only sort of bad guy side, like sort of robot type monster that...
Yeah, holy shit balls. Like I totally thought that was Grievous. I'm like, that's a little weird. And then he explodes. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's growing back together. That's not Grievous.
Yeah. So this creature's name was Dirge, and I don't really know anything about him other than he was just a general for the droid army, for the separatists. And he had his own IG Lancer droid squadron.
That was fucking awesome.
It was so sweet.
Okay. And on paper, it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
We're going to have fucking some separatists, joust with the fucking Republic, via Mad Max style. But holy shit, was that awesome.
It was sweet. It was so good. And I love it. So there's a couple things that this storyline set up. It set up not only your standard clone troopers, but it also set up the ARC troopers, which was sort of the elite of the elite. They don't even speak. They just use hand gestures and get the job done.
Fuck yeah.
Which was really, really cool. And so watching the sort of first exposure of watching Obi-Wan Kenobi command not only the ARC troopers, but the regular stormtrooper or clone trooper regiment, it was just really kind of exciting. It brought me right back to being a kid again watching this.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it was great, too, seeing him in armor, like full armor. At first, it's like, why does that one clone have weird robes? And then it's revealed that it's Obi-Wan. It's like, all right, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
So the Mun that was sort of running everything was San Hill, I believe, if memory is serving correct here. Yeah, it was the Mun chairman of the intergalactic banking clan. But and we'll see him in episode 3. But he also showed up. Like, this is what I loved. Let me quickly talk about what this whole series was. Again, it's supposed to be bridging episode 2 and 3 through the direction of George Lucas. They ended up using it as a pilot for the Clone Wars cartoon, 3D cartoon series that ended up coming out. But originally, it was just supposed to be just a bunch of little shorts. But fans responded so favorably. I mean, we have to keep in mind, this was the first Star Wars cartoon since the 80s. Like 86 with the Ewok cartoon.
Yeah, which we all remember the Ewok and droids cartoons.
So good. And so, no one knew how people would react. And even though traditionally fans received the prequel trilogy really badly, like this Clone Wars, everyone loved. Like across the board, it seemed. And so it greenlit, of course, what we now know as the Clone Wars. And as soon as Disney bought out Lucas, they literally made Clone Wars as, you cannot mess with this. This is pure canon, and anything before it is Legends. So even this cartoon series we're talking about now, which was the pilot for the Clone Wars, is considered Legends. There's just some inconsistencies in the story and stuff like that they ended up changing in the 3D version of the Clone Wars. And so, watching Obi-Wan fight with this really massively powerful, I don't even know what it was, this organic sort of Terminator. Called Dirge.
He's definitely like the T-2000.
Yeah, it was really cool just seeing them. Like, he shoved his lightsaber right through his chest, and Dirge just sort of stared at him and started laughing. He was like, oh, crap. And then, so the second main storyline of this first season is Anakin Skywalker. So they needed someone to... they needed someone to run the space assault. And this is where we initially see Senator Palpatine extending his will on the Jedi Order and forcing basically them to take, or to allow Anakin Skywalker to lead this.
Yeah. Well, and after our discussion yesterday too, it really, really drove home his long game. I appreciated that so much more than, had that not jogged my memory.
Well, I mean, one of the really great parts about this this storyline with Anakin is that we not only see this really intimate connection and farewell with Padme, who looks just super cool, but we also get to see him doing some of his best starfighting. Which is so awesome to see him interacting with the troopers and leading this droid assault. I just loved it so much. Part of Star Wars is, of course, space battles, and this cartoon really, just like Resistance. That was the one thing that I really loved about Resistance. I love that about this cartoon as well.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking killer, especially to see him taking down a gunner station from inside. That was pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. And that just took me right back to episode 1 when he accidentally did it as a kid.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, hey. You did that before. Now it's your thing. It's just what he does.
I mean, there's worse things in the world to be known for.
Yeah. But there was also this really wonderful plot. So we already see the machinations of Palpatine saying Anakin needs to be in charge of the space battle, so that he knows exactly where Anakin is. And then Count Dooku goes to this gladiator fight on Rataka?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Rat attack? I don't know, some planet to find presumably an assassin or someone to train, and he finds Asajj Ventress. Well, she finds him.
And God damn it. I've always been a fan of that character, obsessed with that character. And this show is just completely making me another level of a fan of her.
We never got, I mean, did we get how did she, an introduction to Count Dooku in the 3D Clone Wars? She was already with him, right?
Yeah, she was already there.
So this has to be the only origin story that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah, this is... I never knew how they got together.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Her sneaking up on him calling her out, her defeating every other gladiatorial opponent through the Force, and then finally through her lightsabers, and then fighting Dooku and just getting her ass owned.
Yeah, numerous times even. That's the best part.
But what was great is, after he full on Force lightninged her ass and passed her out or knocked her out, he took her back to his pad and then had Sidious via hologram watching as she woke up, and they had another confrontation. And that's when Sidious said, yes, She can be taught in the ways of the Force. She can be your acolyte. You need to send her to go kill Anakin. And so this is what I want to talk about more than anything else about this whole season 1. Sidious knew where Anakin was because he put him there. So is he actually just testing Anakin, or is he trying to get rid of Anakin at this point in the storyline?
I would imagine that it's a test. And I mean, it's in very much the Sith tradition to push somebody to the point where they should die. Mm-hmm. And if they do die, then obviously they were worthless. And if they make it through, then obviously you got to keep them around for at least a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sold. Like,
did I cut out again?
No, I got you. I can hear.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, yeah, that was basically it.
Okay.
My shit keeps cutting out. I hate Skype.
I don't get this because we just did a show and there wasn't a problem.
I know, and that was visual. Like, that's a lot more shit. But yet, anytime we record audio,
this is so
without
weird.
fail, I cut out at least once or twice.
Okay. Well, I am going to try to boost my stuff here just to give us any extra possibilities of it working or something. I don't know. Okay. So there's like a sort of, okay, so it ended up where Sidious is pointing Asajj Ventress to go kill Anakin, and she goes and destroys his entire squad, which is pretty much the end of episode 10. And so it's going to be picking up with them and their confrontation.
Well,
and,
spoiler, Adam, I didn't fucking know that was her.
What?
I'm totally just kidding.
Okay, you just fucked with me, man. I was like, what? We just were having a conversation. Damn, man. You're killing me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to finish this. Like, I have a feeling as soon as we get off mic, I'm going to have to finish watching it and then watch it again next week.
The lightsaber battle, once they actually get on ground between Anakin and Asajj, is beautiful. I love it so much. It is like one of the greatest lightsaber fights in animation.
Fucking A.
So I'm hoping you're going to dig it too. So that was season 1, essentially. We had this really wonderful sort of aside where it was Kit Fisto and his scuba troopers going down to Mon Calamari and fighting the Manta Droid sub-fighters army of the Corran Isolation
League.
League.
Fuck those Corrans.
Yeah, them and their
bastards.
Tentacle douche faces. I don't know. I actually think they kind of cool. But,
yeah, they're pretty cool, but yeah, still fuck them. And God, that was so cool seeing him destroy shit with the Force. Like, oh, I'm underwater. I'm just gonna make a Force bubble out of water and destroy your shit.
So awesome. Well, another part of what I loved about it is, like, clearly when I first saw it, this never came to me because it didn't exist. But now I'm watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like Aquaman. Like, it's all cartoony and colorful and, like, you know, flying around on these creatures and kicking ass under the sea. I was just like, oh, it's Aquaman. They even had a little trench sequence at the very end where they threw the big monstrous, like, I don't know, massive crab cannon into the trench and it just like explodes down in there and you get Kit just sitting there grinning. Just like, yep, I'm the man. Yeah,
that was pretty damn sweet to see him underwater.
So this is your first time you're sitting down watching this. What was your takeaway of season 1?
Like I said in the beginning, I'm just kicking myself in the ass for not watching this sooner. Like, I don't know why I had such an aversion to it when it first came out. I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch this. These new movies suck. This is probably gonna suck too. And I think I would have thought a little bit less ill of the first movies watching this, or not the first movies, but the prequel trilogy.
Right. Yeah. It brought me right back to seeing it the first time, and I absolutely loved it then, and I am just loving it now. It adds just this sense of backstory that you're not going to get anywhere else. And, you know, some of the stories that we're going to be getting into here in future reviews are parallel to some of the novels that were released too. And so we're going to have a lot of back and forth play and stuff. But again, this is all leading to the final green lighting of the Clone Wars. And so we're going to be leading right into that. So season 1, Clone Wars, loved it. Can't wait to see season 2 and review it with you guys next week. Anything else you wanted to talk about with this?
No, that's about it. Just holy shitballs. If you guys haven't watched this, you need to watch this.
We will talk to you guys next week with season 2. May the force be with you.
Deuces.
What's up, Princess Moon? Princess Moon.